Okay, multiple choice. If measure of angle 1 equals measure of angle 2, which of the following statements is true? Well, if you notice, angle 1 and angle 2 here create a linear pair. If they create a linear pair, then both of them together equal 180 degrees. Since they are equal, if I take 180 and divide it by 2, then each of those will equal 90 degrees. That being said, we know that line L and line M then are perpendicular, meaning the measure of angle 1, the measure of angle 2, the measure of angle 3, and the measure of angle 4 are all going to equal 90 degrees. So that means the measure of angle 2 is going to be congruent to the measure of angle 4. Measure of angle 2 is 90 degrees because it is a right angle. Line L and line M are perpendicular because they form 90-degree angles. Thus, the answer to this would be all of the above. Number 20. Triangle XYZ. So first thing I'm going to do is going to go ahead and draw this triangle. X happens to be at the point 3, 7. Y is at the point -1, -5. And Z is at 6, -4. So here's my triangle. Find the perimeter of each polygon. Now, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to use the distance formula and find the distance of each of these sections. Okay? So I'm going to need to find the distance between -1, -5, and 6, -4. Okay, so let's do this real quick. The distance then is going to equal the square root of -1 minus 6 quantity squared plus -5 minus a -4 quantity squared. -1 minus 6 is -7. Notice I put that in parentheses and square it. Plus -5 minus a negative. Minus a negative is the same thing as plus a positive. So -5 plus 4 is -1. Again, I put that in parentheses. So I get 49 plus 1, which happens to be the square root of 50. Let's go ahead and leave it the square root of 50 for now. Okay? Let's go ahead and find the distance now between 6, -4 and the point, what was the other point? 3, 7. So, again, we're going to use the same concept here. Distance formula. Distance equals the square root of 6 minus 3 quantity squared plus -4 minus 7 quantity squared. 6 minus 3 is 3, so I have 3 squared plus -4 minus 7 is -11 squared. Notice again I put -11 in parentheses. 3 squared is 9. -11 squared is 121. So the distance between these 2 points then is going to be the square root of 130. And the last one would be the distance between 3, 7 and -1, -5. So I'm going to have 3 minus a -1 quantity squared plus 7 minus a -5 quantity squared. 3 minus a negative is plus a positive. That would give me 4 squared. Again, 7 minus the negative is plus a positive, so that's going to give me 12 squared. 4 squared is 16. 12 squared is 144. When I add these two together, I get 160. So here, this is going to be the square root of 160. Okay, since I have all three sides of my triangle now, to find the perimeter, I'm just going to add it. So I'm going to have the square root of 50 plus the square root of 130 plus the square root of 160. Now I'm going to go ahead and just take my calculator out and add all three of those together. Okay, when I add the square root of 50 plus the square root of 130 plus the square root of 160, I'm going to go ahead and round this to the nearest tenth. So I'm going to have 31.1, and I can't remember what the units were, so if it was centimeters, it'd be centimeters. No, actually, it would just be centimeters. But I don't know what it is, so I'm just going to put unit. You know what the unit was because you have the practice test. Okay.